You know, I just got off work and I was just talking to one of my sons about making Hydra. And one of the things that prevents people from making Hydra is the fact that they think that they have to set this up beforehand necessarily. Sometimes you have to, and I know it's very difficult when you live in the United States to rely on a law rather than what you personally have in hand to do things. Sometimes you have to just plan to be in a place and take it from there. I've had a lot of experience going to different places even before I became Muslim and setting things up and setting myself up in survival mode and being able to stay there. But that's not how Allah tests you. Allah tests you usually to see if you trust Him and believe in Him. And if you trust Him and believe in Him, then you will. Then He'll test. He'll still test you, but He'll test you by uh, making things difficult for you, so that you will cut and run because you're more reliant on what you have in your hands rather than what He has and what He can do, because Allah is Kulli Shay'in Qadir. He has control over everything. So those of you who want to plan your Islam around whether you can pay the rent or you can pay the gas or anything like that, plan your Islam on whether it's conducive to practice Islam. What you hear about the political systems in the Middle East and other Muslim countries are a lot of times false. And you must show due diligence because there's a lot of people who don't want you to practice Islam. So let's trust Allah, try Allah, ask Allah to manifest something that tells you that He's going to, that what I'm saying is true, whether He is going to carry the weight, because He's the only one that carries the weight. We are conditioned in the West to believe that we earn what we get, that we earn with our own hands. Muslims believe that, and this is a Christian belief, but Muslims believe that yes, we make effort, we pray, and then Allah will provide the rest if we make effort. We just have to be able to be patient enough to wait for Him to manifest what He says He'll do. And He tests us by making us wait. That's why it's patience and constancy. Patience and constancy. This is the cardinal rule that gets you through every trial. And I'm telling you, I've been through some. My last trial, I was like 3 months out of work. Things were. I was thinking about relocating. I didn't. Not that I'm crazy about Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a desert. There's not too much to do. There's no nightlife. There's not a whole lot of. There's just not a whole lot of things that are fun things to do like in the West, unless you want to indulge in the haram that they're bringing in from the West. It's still possible to not do that and live a halal lifestyle, but a halal lifestyle doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy it. You're just going to be satisfied with it because you're sacrificing the enjoyment that you get from living in a haram place to living in a halal place. Just because it doesn't sound like a lot of fun, it's not. It's a sacrifice, and you have to be able to make that sacrifice to get Allah's pleasure most of the time. So give it some thought, and I'll try to post another video next week on a few other things. But right now, I just want you to make dua to Allah for guidance and try to hang in there. And if you make effort and you ask Allah and you sincerely really want to live halal, Allah will make a way. And when you get to a place that is halal, it's not necessarily going to be easy. And things are not going to be, you're not permanently going to get a job and live happily ever after. There are trials after this. This isn't Jannah. None of it is. But you can, if you strive in Allah's way, inshallah, Allah will grant you what you want, and you will be able to put your family in a safe halal place, and despite the trials and tribulations, you'll be able to please Allah by living in a halal place, by eating halal food, by being near a masjid everywhere you go. You know, some people say that's like living the dream to me, especially people that I left back in the States. But they don't. But I tell them, I said, well, then why don't you do it? He says, well, I have too much to do, my children, this, that, the whole bit. But the thing is, if you don't make preparation to do it, real preparation, and sincerely want to do it, Allah is not going to manifest it to you because you're just fooling yourself. You're just telling yourself you want to do it when actually what you're doing is you're playing a game with yourself and with Allah. And we know what that means, don't we? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdihi. Ashhadu la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.